In the late 1990s, Microsoft's Windows operating system strategy was split. Home users were generally running Windows 95 or Windows 98, and later Windows ME. These systems offered good compatibility with a wide range of software and hardware, especially games. However, they were built on an older architecture that traced its roots back to MS-DOS. This foundation often led to system instability, frequent crashes, and the dreaded blue screen of death that many users came to know all too well. It was clear that this path was not sustainable if Microsoft wanted to provide a truly reliable computing experience for consumers. Meanwhile, the business world relied on the Windows NT family. This lineage included Windows NT 4.0 and more recently at the time, Windows 2000. These operating systems were known for their robustness, security features, and better multitasking capabilities. They were built on a modern kernel designed from the ground up for stability and performance in demanding environments. While excellent for corporate use, Windows NT and Windows 2000 were often seen as too complex for typical home users. Their hardware requirements were also stricter, and compatibility with some consumer games and applications could be problematic, creating a barrier for home adoption. To address these divergent needs, Microsoft initiated two separate projects. The first was codenamed Neptune. This project, started around 1999, aimed to bring the stability and power of the Windows NT kernel to home users. Neptune was envisioned as the true successor to the Windows 9X line, specifically intended to replace the upcoming Windows Millennium Edition, or ME. The core idea was to build a consumer-friendly operating system on top of the Windows 2000 codebase, offering a much-needed leap in reliability for the home market, while simplifying the user experience considerably. The second project was codenamed Odyssey. This was planned as the successor to Windows 2000 Professional and Server editions. Odyssey's focus was squarely on the enterprise market. It was intended to deliver even greater reliability, scalability, and advanced business features that corporations demanded. Microsoft saw Odyssey as the next evolutionary step for its professional operating systems, building on the solid foundation that Windows 2000 had established. At this stage, the company still believed in maintaining these two distinct product lines for the foreseeable future, each tailored to its specific audience. The strategy of maintaining two separate Windows codebases, one for consumers and one for businesses, was proving increasingly problematic for Microsoft. Developing, testing, and marketing two distinct operating systems simultaneously stretched company resources thin. It also created confusion in the marketplace. Consumers and even some small businesses often struggled to understand which version of Windows was right for them. Furthermore, the software development community faced the burden of ensuring compatibility with two fundamentally different underlying architectures if they wanted to reach the entire Windows user base effectively. The release of Windows Millennium Edition, or ME, in late 2000 further underscored the issues with the consumer line. Windows ME, intended as a stopgap, was built on the aging Windows 9X architecture. It was plagued by stability problems and received a largely negative reception from both users and reviewers. This experience highlighted the urgent need for a truly modern and reliable operating system for home users. While Neptune was intended to be that solution, its independent development track meant it was still some way off, and the pressure was mounting for a more immediate and robust answer. Faced with these challenges, Microsoft's leadership, including key figures like Bill Gates and the then CEO Steve Ballmer, made a pivotal strategic decision. They recognized that the long-term health of the Windows ecosystem depended on unifying the consumer and business lines. Maintaining two separate OS development streams was inefficient, expensive, and ultimately hindered innovation. The future, they decided, lay in a single, scalable Windows platform that could cater to the needs of all users, from home consumers to large enterprises, by leveraging the strengths of the NT architecture. Thus, in early 2000, the decision was formally made to cancel both the Neptune and Odyssey projects as separate entities. Instead, their goals and development efforts would be combined into a new, unified project codenamed Whistler. This ambitious undertaking aimed to merge the consumer-friendly aspirations of Neptune with the enterprise-grade stability and features of Odyssey. The goal was nothing short of creating a single operating system that could finally bridge the gap and serve all Windows users with a consistent, reliable, and modern experience, a monumental task by any measure. The Neptune project, before its cancellation, had some innovative ideas for improving the consumer user experience. One of the most talked about concepts was activity centers. These were envisioned as specialized, task-oriented user interfaces designed to simplify common computing activities for home users. Instead of navigating complex menus or file systems, users would interact with visually rich hubs focused on specific tasks. This was a significant departure from the traditional desktop metaphor that Windows had used for years, aiming for a more intuitive and approachable experience. Imagine, for example, a dedicated photo center where users could easily import pictures from a camera, organize albums, perform basic edits, and share them with friends and family. Similarly, a music center might offer streamlined ways to manage music libraries, create playlists, and play audio content. These activity centers were intended to be full-screen experiences, guiding users through tasks step by step and hiding the underlying complexity of the operating system. The aim was to make the PC feel less like a collection of applications and more like an appliance for digital life. Odyssey, on the other hand, was less focused on radical user interface changes. Its primary objective was to build upon the already strong foundation of Windows 2000. The vision for Odyssey was to deliver an even more robust, secure, and manageable operating system for businesses and power users. Enhancements were planned in areas like directory services, network administration, and support for high-end hardware configurations. Odyssey represented an evolutionary path, refining and extending the capabilities that made Windows 2000 a respected platform in the corporate world, ensuring continuity and reliability. While the grand vision of Neptune's activity centers did not fully materialize in their original form within Whistler, their spirit profoundly influenced the design of what would become Windows XP. The emphasis on task-based workflows and user-friendliness found its way into features like the redesigned Start menu, the task panes in Windows Explorer, and the overall more graphical approach of the Luna interface. Odyssey's unwavering commitment to stability, security, and the NT core became the bedrock upon which Whistler was built, ensuring the final product was solid enough for all users. The decision to merge Neptune and Odyssey into a single project, Whistler, presented Microsoft with enormous technical and organizational challenges. It was not simply a matter of pasting code together. Two distinct teams, with different priorities and development cultures, had to be integrated. Neptune was focused on consumer ease of use, sometimes at the expense of underlying system rigor, while Odyssey prioritized enterprise stability and feature sets. Blending these philosophies into a cohesive product required careful management and a clear, unified vision from the top. One of the earliest and most critical strategic choices was to standardize Whistler on the Windows 2000 or NT codebase. This meant that any consumer-oriented features originally planned for Neptune, which might have been designed with a lighter touch, now had to be re-engineered to work reliably and securely within the more complex and robust NT architecture. This decision firmly established stability and security as non-negotiable pillars for the new operating system, ensuring that home users would finally benefit from the same solid foundation that businesses had come to expect from Windows NT. Throughout the planning and early development phases, there were intense internal discussions and debates about feature sets and design priorities. How could Microsoft create an interface that was inviting for new users yet still efficient for experienced professionals? Which consumer features from Neptune were essential, and how could they be integrated without compromising the enterprise capabilities inherited from Odyssey's goals? Finding the right balance was a constant tightrope walk, requiring numerous trade-offs and refinements to ensure the resulting operating system could genuinely serve both markets effectively. The pressure to deliver Whistler within a reasonable time frame also played a significant role in shaping the final product. Microsoft understood the market's impatience for a modern, stable consumer Windows and the ongoing needs of its business customers. This meant that some of the more ambitious or technically challenging features initially envisioned for either Neptune or Odyssey had to be deferred to future releases or simplified to meet project deadlines. The primary focus became delivering a solid, well-rounded, and reliable core operating system that could successfully unify the Windows platform. With the strategic decision to merge Neptune and Odyssey firmly in place by early 2000, the actual development work on Project Whistler commenced at an accelerated pace. The initial internal builds of Whistler very closely resembled its predecessor, Windows 2000, both visually and functionally. This was a logical starting point, as the NT codebase was to be its core. However, as development progressed, elements from the Neptune consumer vision gradually began to appear, particularly in terms of user interface concepts and integrated multimedia features, signaling the new unified direction. Microsoft adopted an iterative development process, releasing a series of technical beta versions to a wide audience of developers, IT professionals, and hardware manufacturers throughout 2000 and into early 2001. These pre-release builds, often identified by their build numbers like 2250, 2296, and later ones in the 24XX series, were crucial for gathering feedback. Testers provided invaluable data on software and hardware compatibility, system stability, performance benchmarks, and the usability of new features. This feedback loop allowed the Whistler team to identify and fix bugs and refine the OS. A significant public milestone occurred at the Professional Developers Conference in July 2000. At this event, Microsoft provided attendees with an early pre-beta build of Whistler Build 2250. While still rough around the edges and lacking the final user interface, it gave the developer community its first tangible look at the unified operating system. Later, in early 2001, Microsoft would more formally unveil the new Luna visual style, which represented a dramatic shift from the traditional Windows look and feel, generating considerable discussion and anticipation for the final product. The journey from code to the final released product was, as expected, filled with challenges. The engineering team worked tirelessly to integrate the vastly different requirements of home and business users. This involved resolving countless bugs, optimizing performance across a wide range of hardware, and ensuring backward compatibility with thousands of existing applications and devices. The introduction of a completely new visual theme like Luna also required extensive work to ensure consistency and usability across the entire operating system. A massive effort that continued right up until the final builds. Undoubtedly one of the most striking innovations in Whistler, which would soon be known as Windows XP, was its brand new graphical user interface, codenamed Luna. This was a significant departure from the classic gray, angular look of previous Windows versions. Luna introduced a brighter, more colorful aesthetic with rounded window corners, gradient title bars, and larger, more iconic buttons. The default blue and green theme, often nicknamed Bliss due to the default wallpaper, aimed to make the operating system feel more friendly, approachable, and modern, particularly appealing to home users. Beyond the surface-level visual changes, the most profound innovation of Windows XP was the unification of the Windows codebase onto the robust NT kernel for all users. For the first time, home users received an operating system with the same underlying stability, security, and reliability that businesses had enjoyed with Windows NT and 2000. This move effectively ended the era of the inherently less stable, MS-DOS-based Windows 9X and Me line. This core architectural change was a monumental step forward, drastically reducing system crashes and improving the overall computing experience for millions. Windows XP also came packed with a host of new and improved built-in features designed to enhance productivity and the digital media experience. Native support for CD burning was a major addition, allowing users to create their own data and audio CDs directly from Windows Explorer without needing third-party software. Windows Media Player was significantly updated, offering better audio and video playback capabilities. Furthermore, the new Windows Picture and Fax Viewer provided improved tools for viewing, managing, and performing basic edits on digital photos, reflecting the growing popularity of digital cameras. Other notable features contributed to XP's appeal and utility. Remote Desktop allowed users to access and control their PC from another computer over a network or the internet, a boon for remote work and support. System Restore provided a safety net, enabling users to roll back critical system files to a previous state if an installation or configuration change caused problems. For households with multiple users sharing one computer, fast user switching was a game changer, allowing users to switch accounts quickly without having to close applications and log out completely, making shared PCs more convenient. In February 2001, Microsoft officially revealed that the Whistler project would be launched under the name Windows XP. The XP was purposefully chosen to stand for experience, a clear signal from Microsoft about the product's core philosophy. The company aimed to move beyond just providing an operating system. it wanted to deliver a significantly enhanced and more intuitive user experience. This branding was a deliberate effort to emphasize ease of use, digital media integration, and a more personal connection between the user and their computer, targeting a broader audience than ever before. The choice of XP also marked a departure from Microsoft's previous naming conventions, which often involved version numbers like Windows 3.1, 95, 98, or year designations such as Windows 2000 and Windows Me. The new name was intended to sound fresh, modern, and forward-looking, reflecting the substantial leap in technology and user interface design that the operating system represented. It was a name designed to resonate with both consumers looking for an easier way to manage their digital lives and businesses, seeking a reliable and powerful platform for productivity. The development ethos behind Windows XP was heavily influenced by the burgeoning concept of the digital lifestyle. Microsoft envisioned a future where personal computers were central hubs for entertainment, communication, and creativity. Features such as the improved Windows Media Player, the basic video editing capabilities of Windows Movie Maker, and the integrated photo management tools were all designed to support this vision. The operating system was crafted to make it simpler for users to work with digital music, photos, and videos. Ultimately, Windows XP was engineered to be a welcoming platform for a diverse range of users, from complete novices to seasoned IT professionals. The colorful and simplified Luna interface, while sometimes criticized by power users for its perceived Fisher-Price look, was intentionally designed to be less intimidating for those new to computing. Beneath this friendly veneer, however, lay the powerful and secure NT kernel, providing the rock-solid performance and advanced features that business customers required. This dual appeal was a cornerstone of XP's design and its eventual widespread success. To support the launch of such a pivotal product, Microsoft orchestrated one of its largest and most ambitious marketing campaigns ever for Windows XP. The central slogan for this global effort was, "Yes, you can." This optimistic and empowering tagline was designed to convey a sense of possibility and to highlight the new capabilities and ease of use that Windows XP brought to personal computing. It aimed to assure users that complex tasks were now within their reach, and that the PC could be a tool for creativity, communication, and entertainment without the frustrations of older systems. A highly memorable component of the Windows XP marketing blitz was the prominent use of Madonna's hit song, "Ray of Light." The track's energetic and uplifting vibe was featured extensively in television commercials and at promotional events worldwide. This choice of music, associated with a global pop icon, signaled Microsoft's intent to reach a mainstream consumer audience far beyond its traditional tech-savvy base. The commercials depicted people effortlessly using Windows XP for various activities, reinforcing the "Yes You Can" message with visually engaging scenarios of digital empowerment. The financial investment in the Windows XP launch campaign was substantial, with estimates suggesting Microsoft allocated around $1 billion, a figure that included direct advertising, partner co-marketing initiatives, launch events, and extensive training programs for retailers and IT professionals. This massive budget underscored the strategic importance of Windows XP to Microsoft's future. The company was determined to make Windows XP a household name, and to drive rapid adoption across both consumer and business segments, ensuring its new unified platform became the undisputed standard. The official launch of Windows XP took place on October 25, 2001. The main event was held in New York City, and while the general atmosphere was somewhat more restrained due to the recent September 11th attacks, it still marked a significant moment for Microsoft and the tech industry. The extensive marketing campaign, coupled with the tangible benefits of the new operating system, successfully generated enormous public interest and positioned Windows XP as an exciting and essential upgrade for millions of PC users around the globe, setting the stage for its long reign. Windows XP, the final product of the ambitious Whistler project, went on to become one of Microsoft's most successful and iconic operating systems. Its launch on October 25, 2001, marked a crucial turning point for the Windows platform. For the first time, Microsoft had successfully unified its consumer and business operating system lines onto a single, robust codebase derived from Windows NT. This achievement brought unprecedented stability and security to home users, fundamentally changing their computing experience for the better and setting a new standard for personal operating systems. For many years following its release, Windows XP remained the dominant operating system on personal computers worldwide. Its blend of user-friendliness, particularly with the Luna interface, broad hardware and software compatibility, and underlying stability made it a steadfast favorite. Many users and businesses grew so comfortable with XP that they resisted upgrading for extended periods, even as Microsoft released newer versions like Windows Vista and Windows 7. This long period of widespread adoption solidified XP's place in computing history as a beloved and reliable workhorse. The development and triumph of Windows XP imparted valuable lessons to Microsoft. It highlighted the immense benefits of a unified codebase and reinforced the growing importance of user experience design, while the specific visual style of Luna was eventually phased out in favor of newer aesthetics like Aero and Windows Vista. The underlying principle of making Windows more intuitive and approachable for a wider audience continued to influence subsequent Windows releases. The stability and security inherited from the NT kernel became the non-negotiable foundation for all future desktop and server versions of Windows. Even today, more than 2 decades after its debut, and long past its official end of support, Windows XP is often remembered with a degree of fondness by those who used it extensively. It represented a significant leap forward in making personal computing more reliable, more secure, and more accessible to millions of people around the world. The legacy of the Whistler project is profound. It demonstrated Microsoft's capacity to undertake complex engineering challenges and successfully reinvent its flagship product, shaping the direction of Windows for generations to come and leaving an indelible mark on the digital landscape.